Yes, we have tea, and why? Why must so many wastes of oxygen occupy our midst? But yeah, we've hit 14,000 subs, woo! And as I said previously, may I remind all of the newcomers, I am not English, I am South African. Greetings to all of you. But before we get into the main topic here, let me just say something here. One of my favorite things about doing this is you guys in the comment section. Now, before you all go, nah, that's kind of gay, shut your face, I'm trying to be nice here. It's not my forte, so sue me. But really, I mean it, because the only reason why this channel has any growth at all is because of you guys. I'm just some rambling wanker with a spiffy avatar and an accent to match. That's basically it. I've seen other channels with a similar sub count, and this one punches well above its weight. And it's because of the engagement, so thank you to all of you who become members, support me on Patreon, donate to all our live streams, and all of that good stuff. But I thought about this earlier because if I didn't see you guys in the comment section, if I just produced content and there was no feedback mechanism aside from the likes, I would be extremely bored. Now, with the pleasantries out of the way, let me just be more direct here. No one is entitled to my time, especially if you're stupid. I've been at this for a fair few years now and around many a comment section in my time. I know when I'm dealing with an empty noggin that has all the mental capacity of a damn corpse. In fact, there's a whole bunch of them in my comment section the last day or so. Where do they all come from? And why now all of a sudden? And my, what are they dull? Good lord, they're so boring. It's the same thing every time. Oh, all you do is rant. No, there's actually criticisms in my rant. Not that you would ever understand them. Do you have any valid criticism of me aside from my style hurting your delicate fifis? Oh, I'm not going to engage you. Then why are you in my comment section then? Fuck off. Ah, good lord. I honestly pray it's one person with multiple accounts, because if it's legit different people all parroting the same talking point, that's somehow more depressing. But all know I run on pattern recognition, and if I see the use of certain vocabulary, I will not engage you with any hint of seriousness because you're a mindless drone. I will, however, get aristocratic real quick, rather condescending in a manner that will amuse me, and put the comment on blast so we can all learn something from said asinine dimwittery. Now this comment comes off the heels of the Ackman video I did that featured Az's now famous rant about the pronouns in Starfield, because that video for some bizarre reason gets random bumps and a couple of thousand views every few days. It's really weird, and yet people still can't understand the point of the video, or Az's rant for that matter. That to me is mind-blowing and also rather disappointing because I explained it brilliantly. I said, imagine if you lived in a place that was stricken with an infection of varying degrees of concentration and you can't get away from it, and you finally get your hands on something new. It doesn't matter how minuscule a trace of the infection the new thing contains. If the infection is present at all, it's going to stir your ire. The pronoun represents the virus. If you can't understand this, you're too stupid to engage in politics, so don't bother, unplug. It can't be made any simpler than that. Hence this comment. He's allowed to have an opinion that you don't like. Yes, I'm aware of that. Now would you mind extending me the same courtesy? He is free to be disingenuous as sin, much the same way I'm free to be a smartass and call him ridiculous for doing so. He is allowed to have a political opinion different from yours. Okay, so you do agree that it is political. Good, keep that one in mind because we're going to come back to this one, by the way. The moment you start throwing insults is the moment you devalue your own argument. No, that's bollocks. The return viewers know I will dress you down before I go based spoon. Thank you, HP. Said it before, build an argument that wins the crowd before you go for the jugular. Unless you can assume the audience is already on board and just go cutthroat from the get-go like I'm doing here. The term woke has probably become my most hated word. Good for you, as the right try to use it to demean things that try to be inclusive or have anything that has a hint of liberal ideology incorporated into it. Do you see now why I was getting annoyed, chaps? My god, these miserably boring bastards are literally incapable of seeing the world outside of the World War II ideological framework. Get a life, you sad bunch of wankers. Go outside and touch grass. And for all the people who say, that's rich coming from you, you do this for a living. Listen here, I'm an absolute monarchist who detests democracy. I don't advocate for more political entanglement, I advocate for its complete disengagement. You are not even remotely comparable to me. Look at this whole mess, where people are boycotting this game and calling it woke because they allow you to change your pronouns, something that doesn't even affect the game at all. Save it for the end. I wonder if this person can even tell they're making the argument and it's flying merrily over their own heads. It's astonishing to watch, really. Oh no, inclusion, what are we going to do? Boycott it, like you just said. Come on, are you that slow that you can't even keep up with yourself? Again, level of imbecility that's borderline impressive. You said it only exists to serve as political propaganda.
That's because it is.
Have you ever thought that maybe they're just trying to be more inclusive?
Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
While the right paints it as political propaganda and as a liberal agenda, it is. Which is funny because statistically, most people on the right are a stupid word I won't even bother uttering because it makes no damn sense. So they are just trying to give themselves an excuse to openly admit it, saying they aren't said stupid word, they just hate leftist propaganda and the liberal agenda.
Oh, dear Lord.
Give me a moment, I must contain my rage. Let's start with the most obvious one, shall we? That stupid word. Of all the words that leftists either pull out of their arse or pervert, well, frankly, it's the same orifice, the only difference is the direction it's going in, that one goes in my top 3 of ones that need to be fired out of the cannon into the sun. Because, and lower your volume here because I'm about to pull an as, it's not fear, it's fucking irritation! Look at this, the person says the right paints it as propaganda and a liberal agenda, then previously says it doesn't even affect the game at all, it's just the incorporation of the liberal ideology. Oh, they're just trying to be more inclusive. By doing what? Shoving in liberal propaganda that literally no one asked for in a badly made, boring title that they themselves admit adds bugger all to the game. But the moment people try and mod it out of a single player game, Nexus mods wet themselves and claim it's against inclusivity if you want to modify your own frickin' private property. This is the kind of stupidity that does my fucking head in because they're making my argument and in their own words, no less.
Feeling better?
Yeah, actually I do, so thank you for asking. The whole freaking point of Az's rant, if you can take the time to pull your head out of your ass that is the ruining of the immersion aspect of escapism by the inclusion of the current day. If it contains said virus that is the current day, it is not escapism. It is just another avenue to shove in the propaganda, a hallmark of totalitarianism. Not that this pleb has ever read anything about politics, I'm quite sure. But I need to discuss this decrepit ideology, because it's always discussed on a societal scale and the science of it all, which to me is always a bit like Matt Walsh's What is a Woman documentary. A telltale sign we're far too stupid if something like that even needs to be made to begin with. But anyway, let me explain why these types are so despised. And it has nothing to do with the politics even. It is because the kind of people who gravitate towards this ideology are unimpressive, unremarkable specimens. They have done absolutely nothing with their lives. And this ideology acts like a power amplifier. They are attracted to it because they want to feel a sense of importance, but they're far too cheap, stupid, and lazy to actually do something of merit to achieve it. See, in previous eras, where you had royal families, nobility, and bloodlines, they at least have accomplishments and a lineage. The aristocracy of old, their reputation had merit. You see, unlike those who were born with power, who were taught to wield it with a sense of grace or dignity, much like someone with no financial training who suddenly accrues a substantial amount of money, they go completely blood drunk with it, strutting around with a colossal undeserved sense of arrogance. And I'm telling you, there is a fair few people in this movement who derive pleasure in making other people bend to their will. I will bet my life on that. Save is better in the world, by the way. These are the types who never got any attention, and so the masquerading slogan of inclusivity exists to mask this deep festering resentment that manifests itself in this form of vengeance. And to make matters worse, they also constantly whine about being oppressed when in reality they wield an ungodly amount of disproportionate political power that no rational thinking person would ever think is normal. People don't like inauthenticity and they don't like liars, and these types are an obnoxious concoction of both. Snakes whose entire existence is composed of deceit, from what they are, what they claim to be, to what they believe, to what they experience. Absolutely nothing about them at all is genuine. Everything they purport to be is nothing more than a cloak that serves as a coping mechanism to shield them away from dealing with the uncomfortable truth that is reality. That is the reason why society does not like them, because absolutely everything about them is fake and fraudulent. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.